Oh, I don't have YouTube up, so I won't be typing in the chat. I won't be able to see the chat.
That's fine. Peace to the family. This is the Hoodmystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Today, I'm a man of few words. Today, I'm here to present Mr. Prime Harmonic. The deal is, I will only speak if he's missing something, but I'm sure that won't happen very much at all. So, with all of that being said, a man who really needs no introduction, you all know him if you listen to my channel at all, Mr. Prime Harmonic with Breathing Basics 101. Please enjoy.
Peace, peace. Thank you, Hood Mystic. I appreciate it. I'm gonna start out in case my mama's listening to this by saying, "Thank you, mommy. My mama Hazel Broadnex in DC raised me and my brother, and that's why I'm here talking to y'all now. My dad and the rest of my ancestors, my family, my greats, my grand greats, my wife Mo, and my daughter Malulani for their support. Because while I was going back and forth with you, Hood, they had to endure stuff like Papa not being around, to play or whatnot. So, and I want to thank you for helping with this presentation, man, because what I gave you initially was very dry and scientific, and you beefed it up. So, thank you. With that being said, I know that everybody, has their different way of doing things. I'm a praying man, um, and I know that some people want to talk about God within, but I'm just going to say it like this: We are here to enter the rest of our lives with a new paradigm of our health in body, mind, emotion, and spirit. And we appreciate the love and support of those who came before us that allowed the framework of today to happen. Our ancestors, physical and non physical, in this time and space, and all sentient life forms, physical and non physical, that watch over us and guide us to a better humanity. May we receive and transmit clearly as we come together to discuss this art of breathing. Ashe.
Ashe.
So, um, one of the things that uh, I like about your show, Hood, is you say leave your ego at the door. So that's all I'm gonna ask. Like, it sounds like we're talking about something real basic, but if everybody could just leave their thoughts and ideas about what they think they know about breathing on the side to the end of the presentation, that'd be cool. Leave your expectations to the side as well. Just chill with me here with no intention to be anywhere else. Just relax and allow your awareness to examine what I'm saying in an unbiased fashion. Judge it later if you want, but for now, just leave your judge to the side. That being said, breathing is a way to tap into the intelligence that masterfully runs your inner life processes and allow it to run your outer life. It's a way to stay in tune with yourself, to heal, and to recharge your body. All that means is that you need to breathe like your life depends on it. And we're here to discuss the art of breathing. So you have to understand it's not just as simple as in and out. That's okay if you want to do it that way. But I beg my more mature audience to think of it more like sex. And hopefully you ain't just doing sex in and out. Hopefully you spelling some alphabets and doing your best to make your mate happy, whatever. You got to do tricks and flips with this stuff. Okay. So breathing has to be a conscious effort. It can't just be something you're doing just for the hell of it. So we're here to discuss breathing basics 101 as we have called it over the conversations. And who was like, Prime man, you got to put something together, 101. So here it is, okay? The majority of schools don't teach you breathing. There's no yoga before recess or lunch or whatever, right? Unless you in like Montessori schools, I think do that a little bit, but for the most part, public schools, schools I came up in, they didn't do it. It's just something that's understood, like you wiggling your fingers or your toes. You know how to do that naturally. When people say catch your breath or deepen it or slow it down, you know you can take control of your breathing for that moment. Okay. But any other time, your body is doing this for you naturally. Your inner intelligence is breathing for you when you're not thinking of it. And that's what we want to tap into is that inner intelligence by focusing our awareness. So a lot of folk are signing up for yoga and breathing classes and things of that nature because they believe it will bring peace and prosperity to their lives. And it will if it's applied right. Okay. Breathing is free. Breathing is free. Thank God. And when you do it properly, it can enhance your whole life. You can bring that intelligence that breathes for you when you ain't thinking about it into your daily living. It's a repetitive exercise that you can hone as long as you're living. Don't need music and you don't even need visuals. If they help, that's cool. But I'm just saying, you don't really need them to breathe. Okay. Um, with conscious awareness and exercising of various breathing techniques, you can take control of your health, your emotions, your mind, and you can connect with higher levels of consciousness throughout your day. So, in getting into a little bit of the steps of it, the first thing a lot of folk need to just learn simply is to observe breathing. When we observe with our awareness, we're providing a channel for it, like a funnel or a canal, just like you're tuning to a channel on a TV. When you observe your breath, you're focusing your awareness on your breath. And if you listen to it, not trying to change it, you want to be as light as a butterfly when you're observing your breath. Like if you're focusing on a part of your lungs or your diaphragm or whatever, try to keep your attention light. So when you observe your breath, you can sense what's going on in your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual state. If you're breathing heavy, you know that you've either exerted yourself or you have what's it called? Tychocarmine. I can't remember the name of it. There's this heart disease where if your heart's beating real fast and you ain't doing nothing but resting, okay, hopefully y'all ain't got that. If you do, lay off the caffeine. But just listening to your breathing can give you a hint of your physical state, your emotional state, mental, and so on. Exercising is the next step to this. Once you learn to observe your breathing, light as a butterfly landing on a flower, you don't have to observe hard. Okay. The major part of the exercise of breathing starts not with breathing, but with the control of pointing your awareness to the breathing. Because if you tell somebody, hey, count 100 of your breaths, see if they don't have to start over 18 times or whatever. How many people can sit down and just really stay focused on their breathing? Okay. It's not easy. So it's going to come with exercise. And that's the point of exercise, that repetitiveness to get you used to it. So the primary exercise is to point your awareness to your breathing. Secondary exercise is then when you start learning how to do breathing techniques. Even though you're doing techniques, you don't want your awareness to drift off to the next room. You still want to keep your awareness on your breathing as well as keeping your awareness on the technique. So both of those things are at the center of your awareness. That's called concentration, both in the same circle, concentration. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. That's a common saying in martial arts world. Okay. Keep your attention where you want your energy to be. So once you learn about exercising, then you get to the point where you can start to expand your world, expand your capacity for air, and expand your mindset so that you can allow that inner intelligence that breathes for you when you're sleeping or when you're not thinking about breathing. The more you learn to focus on your breathing and flow with it, the more that inner intelligence will start to creep out into your life, your outer life. And that's a glorious thing. I mean, you're talking about a system that regulates your body without your intervention. You don't have to keep your heart beating at night. You don't have to worry about your intestines squeezing the juice out the food. You don't have to worry about the blood flowing through your capillaries. You don't have to worry about your lymph system. You don't have to worry about your nervous system firing right. There's so many things going on that, you can take that computer of yours and plug it into some others, like R2D2. When they take R2D2 to a door and say, R2, open this door, that could be you using your breathing skills to open the doors in your life, right? By letting that inner intelligence into your outer life, expanding your thought, expanding the way you are. So is all of these are aspects, I should say, to breathing. You can observe your breathing, you can exercise your breathing, and you can expand your breathing. And the reason I say you can exercise it before expanding is because first you have to realize it and learn it before you think about even just, you know, increasing capacity. Okay. So yeah, Hood found this next slide. I like it because it kind of flowers in and out. And for those of you that are on the Slack, I sent you this video by John Nine. She put it out on YouTube. Uh, Dang it, my mind's slipping. Timeless Hood in your the number of breaths you breathe per minute. If you can follow this diagram that's up there and breathe in and breathe out, according to that rhythm, then you're taking the first steps to exercising, being able to control your breath rate. And that is the start of learning how to reduce stress, control your emotions, enhance your mental. Conscious breathing invites your true self into your daily living. So, Hood found this breathing exercise on Instagram. Um, and the reason why we wanted to talk about that was just to show two things. One, this is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. People are talking about this now. Y'all need to get up on it before it gets spoiled because as soon as uh, how do I say this? As soon as it catches on that people are trying to enhance their breathing, there's going to be breathing classes everywhere. You won't be able to walk down the street without somebody trying to hand you a flyer. Hey, brother, hey, sister, come to my breathing classes. We got this right over here. You know what I mean? So take advantage of it now while you got people that's out here trying to show you the real deal and get into it before it becomes a fad, like gluten free, like echinacea, like St. John's wort, I mean, what is it called? St. John's the herb, get into it before it's a fad, okay? But this technique that you see right now, you can get that on my bad hood. You can get that on Instagram, and just look at it. And that's a good way to keep your visual, to keep your mind engaged while you breathe in and hold your breath and then breathe out. Okay. And again, this practicing of pointing your consciousness or your awareness to your breathing will allow you to be the witness of your breathing. Ultimately, these practices lead you to the experience of your mind as a construct because your mind is a construct that you created in order to navigate in this earth time space continuum. One of my favorite teachers, Muji, says, "The ways of the mind are ancient, but you are timeless. You are timeless. Your true self, your primordial self is timeless." And that's what you try and tap into with breathing. So I'm like I told Hood, I'm just gonna go into a little bit of my story, and I'm gonna try and keep this part brief so we can get into a couple of breathing exercises and then do like some Q&A. I was born with asthma, and I had it very bad probably until I was about 20 years old. It was sparked by allergies. Um, Cats, even though I love them, they were around. I was allergic to them, but if I was around them too much, I was wheezing. Pollution. I grew up. I was born and raised in D.C., and um, the air quality wasn't that good when I was there. So my mom used to get these books, um, and one from the what was it called? I can't remember the name of it, the American Lung Association. And you know, one book she brought home one day talked about how to breathe with your diaphragm. And when I read this book, I was about 9 or 10, and I started realizing, okay, even if I'm wheezing with my asthma, that's when I first learned that the majority of my sounds were coming from when I was trying to exhale. It wasn't that I had a lot of trouble getting air in, but it was trapped in there. So I just had to learn, to breathe deeply and slowly, and just I let the noise happen. I let the wheeze happen, and I didn't let it affect me. So that started my discipline road in the way of breathing. And then meditation, I would say, started when I started folding origami at the age of 8. Um, that was like, sitting down for a long time, folding a piece of paper into an animal or whatnot. Just gave me that focus. Um, so that discipline and focus, I think, at that age was the start of me getting into uh, more livelihood, more of my indwelling intelligence living into my earth space time life and making it better. Okay. So that discipline basically helped me learn to control my brain waves. Now, I was getting to the point where I could sense a lot of things, but I still didn't have control over my body, because I had, fear, urges, excitation, lows, highs, conditionings, everything that everybody goes through, right? As I was starting to learn more about my breathing and calming my mind state, I realized that my body wasn't necessarily fit enough from all those years of asthma, and not breathing, not exercising well, to really get out in the world. Um, but as I got older, I started to realize that because I had strengthened my subconscious awareness, the things that I wanted in life were coming to me like kind of easy. Not super easy, but I noticed that as my breathing and my meditations improved, the situations in my life improved as well. I still hadn't gotten hold of how to do it on purpose, but I could feel that it was happening. Okay. So, with that meditation and breathing, I was starting to manifest. One of the things that I manifested at that point was teachers. Um, I got to the point when I was 18 that I just worked through my asthma with the help of a couple of coaches, got into the Naval Academy, and basically I was wheezing. They caught me on one of the physical training days, even though I could do all the pull-ups and push-ups and all that because I was starting to strengthen my body. They basically said, if you have asthma after the age of 12, you can't fly. And I wanted to be a Marine Corps pilot, so that didn't work out. But they helped me get into GW. And my brother Olakun, he used to say, "What would you do if you couldn't fly?" I said, "I don't know, man. I'm always fly." And he said, "I think you'd make a great engineer." And that's what started me on my path of engineering. But we can talk more about that later. So my teachers in that influenced me the most in terms of breathing and then strengthening my body were my martial arts teachers. Um, Early 90s, I started studying capoeira with Pete Jackson. His mestre was Amin Santos out in LA. If you ever saw the movie Only the Strong, the Brazilian that was in charge of Mike Dukakis was Amin Santos. And actually, Pete was the number one student in that class, but he was too black to play the leading role. I'm just going to say it like it is. So Mike Dukakis got that role. I mean, not Mike, what's his name? Mark Dukakis. Anyway, Iron Chef guy, Hajime, that guy. Yeah. So anyway, Pete taught us capoeira, regional from Amin Santos, and then he came back to DC because he was living in LA. And that's when I met him and started studying. And while he was in DC, Amin told him to study with Nico Gatto, who taught capoeira Angola, which is the traditional style, more low, slow, and just brutal on the legs. But that gave me like crazy mad endurance. Um, Oh, and I apologize. I forgot to mention Sensei Tabase. Before I started taking capoeira from Pete, a couple of years while I was at GW um, in undergrad, I was taking Shotokan karate, where we learn how to kiai, make your noises and your breath, coordinate your breath with your movement. I watched Sensei Tabase. Um, he accidentally cut off this biker while he was driving. I was about maybe 6 spots behind him parking, and I saw the biker arguing with him, and he, you know, is like yelling mad. He has this U lock that you lock the bikes to the poles with, and he's yelling at Sensei while he's waving this lock. And I'm thinking, this guy don't know what he about to be in for, right? And as they're arguing, I see him take a swing at Sensei with the lock, and Sensei backed up. And so it just missed him, but it was enough to graze his head, and he was bleeding. And Sensei did not proceed to kick the man's ass, which was very impressive to me. So I was like, cool, all right. But yeah, he's still teaching. He's sharp. So um, under Pete's tutelage with Nego Gato, me and three other students in DC, um, Gato gave us permission to instruct capoeira. And when I went to North Carolina A&T for grad school in mechanical engineering, I also started a class there. And there was a guy teaching in the gym beside me named Jamie Ellaby. He is like super hardcore ninjutsu and Aiki jujitsu, you name it, this cat can do it. But we used to trade students and techniques. He was the one that first started teaching me how to use a sword or introduced me to Iaido and Aiki jujitsu. I would teach his students, he'd teach mine, and sometimes we'd have classes together, and it was pretty cool. And while I was in North Carolina, I met Sunyata Suraswati. If y'all have ever read the book, The Jewel and the Lotus, he was one of the first people that really brought tantric studies to the West. He was among that first line of soldiers, I should say. And he did deal with the sexual aspects of it, but he also dealt with the mental and the breathing and the fitness aspects of it because it's not all about sex. If you think tantra is all about sex, then you're kind of wrong, and you need to go do some studying. That's just one aspect of it. But through Sunyata, uh, his his grandmother knew Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote the autobiography of a yogi, and he had her send Sunyata to temples in China and India and all over the place. He passed away a while ago, but I was initiated into Kriya Yoga from him. The Cobra Breath meditation I learned from him, which you need initiation for. So I ain't gonna be going over nothing like that. Tibetan White Crane, Qigong. He taught us five animals, Kung Fu, and basically his style or his school he called Wu Chi Dao, which is like the energy of nothingness, the way of nothing. Anyway, um, after leaving North Carolina, moved to Rhode Island, started working for the Navy, and I met Sensei Carvalho. His student was Apodaca Sensei, who now lives in New Mexico. I mean, his teacher, excuse me, was Apodaca Sensei, who now lives in New Mexico. And Apodaca Sensei was a Uchideshi for um, one of Sensei's major students. So basically, you know, the Aikido lineage that I was learning from was really tight. And while I was studying, he also had someone in there teaching Iaido, who Paul White. He doesn't like us calling him Sensei, but I'll call him that because I think I can't officially call him that. But he taught us, so what the hell? So the style of Iaido we learned there helped me in my meditations as well. Again, aligning the breath with the sword. Iaido, for those of you who don't know, is when you draw the sword, you make a cut, and the sword disappears back into the scabbard or saya, as it's called. Um, and you try to do this in one swift move. The creator of that style was said to have not had the strength to go up against a swordsman who killed his father, and he practiced in a temple for years and years trying to perfect this style because he knew he only had one chance, and in that one chance he had to make that cut. So that was the beginning of Iaido, which is different than Kenjutsu when you standing there just smacking swords. So I had a lot of teachers that I attracted into my life, and I'm grateful for them because they were the ones that helped me strengthen my body to where I could definitely take on the energies that were becoming more apparent to me as I increased the capacity in my upper chakras or my mind or my nervous system from all of this breathing. So, um, preparing to breathe is not something that should be taken lightly. I understand that it sounds simple because you've been breathing all your life. Your diaphragm, which is at the lower part of your rib cage, it hangs on to like your lower three ribs on both sides, but it kind of pops up like a cobra's hood. Your diaphragm sits below your lungs and your heart and above your spleen, your liver, your stomach, and your intestines. And when you breathe out, your cobra hood kind of goes up and it pushes air out of your lungs and pushes on your heart, but it pulls up your diaphragm. It pulls up that diaphragm and pulls up the intestines and your liver and your spleen and your stomach. So as you breathe in and breathe out, you're massaging your organs. So when you want to do some serious breathing practices, it's a good thing not to eat. At least give yourself half an hour or an hour. Some people say 3 hours before you do exercises. Your nostrils need to be as clear as you can make them. There's a thing called the neti pot, Neti pot, and it's basically like a little watering can almost, but it's made for your nose. Don't be trying this without guidance, okay? Don't look up neti pot tonight. Go run out and get one, and then blame it on me when you start gagging. Look it up, learn about it, because it's basically pouring water into one nostril, letting it fill the nasal passages, but not go down your throat until it starts pouring out the other nostril. The yogis in India do this with like salt water to help clear out the mucus. There are some yogis that will take a piece of string, suck it into one nostril, and actually kind of do the floss, to clean it. So um, some people even do it with rags. I have not gotten there. I've done it with water. That's it. So if you're going to do a neti pot, research it, look it up. That'll help clean your nasal passages. Bottom line is, if you're going to get into breathing, you need to check your physical health. So eat so that you're not producing a lot of mucus. If you need help with your diet, if it's sickening you, if you don't feel like it's right, if you think you can be eating better, I would say start with the RGB Fit Club. For most of y'all that's on the show, you in touch with Dreamwise and Dre, they on that health kick, right? Start with them. Ask questions. Ask questions. Basically, you want to get to a mucus-free diet. So that's enough about physically. Emotionally, when you are preparing to do these exercises, you want to have the feeling of wanting to improve your life. You want to have a feeling of joy for the process, joy, maybe going outside in the park if you can and do it. Or if you can't be in the park because of the lockdown, be by a sunny window, right? Put some joy into the process. And if you can't generate joy emotionally over trying to improve your life through breathing exercises, then at least generate some gratitude. Hood and I were talking about this part earlier, the mental. The Japanese call it mushin or empty mind. It's a hard thing to do. It's not easy. You use it in the Aido and a lot of the martial arts. You can't let your mental get in the way. Um, in Wing Chun, one of the prevalent teachings is that the only enemy is within. Okay. Mentally, you have to win. You must win. This is discipline. Okay. You cannot let the tricks of your mind win. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this breathing practice, but oh, this movie's coming out. I gotta go to this movie, man. Screw that breathing. I'll see you. You gotta do it. Because that same mind that's trying to take you elsewhere, when you sit down to do it, that same mind is going to be saying, "Oh, you can't do this. You're gonna fail. You ain't breathing right. This ain't right, man. This ain't the time to be doing this. You need to be out doing something else." Okay, you don't fight against that. You rise above it. Okay, because the mind is doing what it's supposed to do. It's your sparring partner, and it will let you know if you're full of shit about taking on an endeavor. Empty mind means rising above the noise. Your mind will disappear when you transform through it, when you go through it, when you learn that it is a construct of yours and you are the witness, and it does not exist unless you give it energy. I'm not saying destroy it. I'm not saying anything like that because it will come back up when it's needed. If you've ever seen the movie Revolver, yo, that's a good movie because it is straight about the mind. I don't know if Dreamwise is in the chat. I know he saw it because I saw a frame grab on one of his talks, but Revolver talks about that. Your mind will be there for you when you need it. You can leave it to the side to do these practices. But when you need it, it'll be there. Trust me, it ain't going nowhere. As long as you're living on this planet, your mind is at call. But you need to learn that your mind is like a pet. You got to, treat it like a dog. No disrespect, right? You don't let the dog walk you. You walk the dog. When you stop, the dog stop. When you say sit, the dog sit. Okay. If your dog ain't doing that, it needs to go to obedience school. Spiritually, awareness of your breathing and breathing techniques creates a shield around you. It makes you resilient to outside programming because the only reason outside programming works is because they're taking advantage of what brainwave they think you might be on. Okay. The normal society is on a typical brainwave and they got you with these commercials, flavors, sights and sounds, advertisements, billboards. They do something to catch your mind, and once they got your mind, they try and keep it on a certain frequency, a feed, right? How long can I capture your attention? How long can I keep your attention? How fast do I have to roll to keep your attention? Okay. Um, Spiritually, breathing exercises help you to find your own rhythm and slow it down so that you can let your inner rhythm, the inner rhythm that keeps your body alive while you sleep, become your theme music, you know? Like, I know I'm telling my age here, but if y'all saw "I'm Gonna Get You Sucker," where Karis One at the end had that theme music playing for Jack, yo, that's how you gonna be. When you get that spirit working, you're gonna have your theme music playing as you do your thing, and
I'm
you'll
gonna
have more
interrupt you real
control.
quick, real quick.
Yeah, yeah,
When I was 5 years old, the first gift that I remember, my mom bought me two records. She bought me Guy and the I'm Gonna Get You Suckers soundtrack with KRS One, but it was just
yeah.
KRS. It was just a Boogie Down
Jack of
production.
Spades.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jack of
yeah.
Spades. That was the first. And she bought me like a record player, and that was
Word.
like, that was it for me. So that's just
I'm
amazing.
gonna get you, sucker.
Oh man,
You dirty mother. Don't you say that. Yeah, man. That was a joint. That was a joint.
I
Um,
just wanted to share. It's beautiful.
yeah, thank you, man. That popped in my again, is what we're talking about, right? I put my mind to the side before we got on this live, and told it, hey, chill out. We're trying to deliver this message. I want to be clear about it. And when you do that, you get inspiration. And there's a difference between inspiration and conditioning. When you living off of conditioning, you're following someone else's program. When you've learned to quiet your mind, you will eventually learn to sense and witness things faster than the speed of thought or the electricity running through your body. And that's a glorious moment. Mine happened about, I want to say, like 2 years ago. I was in meditation and I witnessed the electricity of a thought. I don't even know what the hell the thought was, but it was just something on my mind. And my transmitting self said, this is the thought. And I chose to ignore it. And I saw it leave me as like, I shouldn't say saw it, like I felt it leave me as a jolt of energy. And as I ignored it and just hung around where I was like, I'm not moving. I don't care about what you're doing. You're an apparition because if I can witness you, you are not my true primordial self. If I can witness you, you are a construct. You are the mind. I'm right here. And as I did that, I felt that energy return to me. And it was only a few days later in pondering it that I realized it was nervous impulses from the thoughts that I was thinking. Then I got to the point of feeling, okay, when I go through my day, I try to keep it on an alpha rhythm. I'm trying to do like 2 to 3 breaths per minute on the norm. That's like my typical. And in doing that, when insight comes, not the mind, not the conditioning, when insight comes, you'll feel it as like a change in the energy potential around you. Like you'll feel like your skin start buzzing. Like if you ever walk into a tense situation and you thinking, mm-mm, right? You can feel it. And when you feel that, it starts to condense and coalesce. And then it changes the membrane potential of the neural cells in your brain. And eventually, as they start jumping around, they'll fire off their neurons and you get these electrical currents running through your spine. Okay, that's like the reverse of Kundalini. You're getting inspiration from the crown down. Um, when that happens, man, then you will truly understand the difference between inspiration and conditioned thought. Um, and that's the spiritual. That's just one step. The more you do it, the more you learn to live in that energy and have that energy live in your life. Right? Yeah. So with that being said, I want to take y'all through a quick little practice, and we can talk about techniques and whatnot. Like I can't see the chat, so Hood, I'm gonna rely on you if there's gonna be some questions later. But right now, if y'all can, if you sitting down, cool. If you lying down, just make sure you ain't lying on your belly. And if you are sitting down, just kind of sit with your back straight. Now, there's a trick to sitting that a lot of people don't talk about. You got to kind of stick your butt out when you're sitting down. And what that does is allow you to actually sit on your sitting bones. If you slouch forward like you're hunching and then let your back fall back, then you're slouching. Okay. You don't want your bottom of your back to be curved, pointed out. You want that joint pointed forward towards your belly button. And the way to do that is to stick your pelvis back. Okay. Not too hard that you tense, but just get your spine comfortable and aligned. Now, if our lungs were instruments, we're normally playing with about 1/4 to 1/3 of our range. Could you imagine seeing a concert with somebody only playing on a little part of the piano and not playing the whole piano? That's what we do when we're not breathing fully. So for this first exercise, I want everybody to just relax and just take about 3 breaths, 3 regular breaths, just like you normally do. At the end of the third breath, Don't inhale. Just hold it when you finish exhaling and just hold it there. Now try and exhale some more through your nose, through your mouth, whatever. If you were successful at that, that means you had some more room to exhale. Okay. Now we're going to do this again, taking in 3 breaths. Just breathe normally for a few breaths, right? One, two, just keep breathing. On the next breath, not this one, go ahead and breathe. On your next inhale, hold it and just hold it gently. And then try and breathe in some more air through your nostrils, right? You'll find that you can. Okay. So the reason I walked you through those 2 exercises was to just prove to you physically through your experience, not my words, through your experience, that you have more room to breathe at the top of your inhale and at the bottom of your exhale. Okay. So as you go through your day, this is something that you can be aware of. Instead of just inhaling a little bit, inhale a little bit more or exhale a little bit more. You don't have to stop it. You can make it a smooth motion. Okay. So I want to take y'all through this what Ra'un Nafar. If y'all are familiar with Maduna Tear, um, it's a book by Ra'un Nafar Amin. He's the leader of the Al Set Society. I'm not a member of it, but I grew up around the DC family of Al Set and was able to, or I was in a privileged place to take some meditation classes. Okay. The only reason I'm sharing this with you is because it's in a book, it's in the public domain. All right. As you all get to know me through the Slack, for people on the breathing channel in the Slack, um, you'll find out that there are certain things I'm not going to tell you. And it's not that I don't want you to know, but there are certain breathing systems that you have to be initiated into because it can get dangerous messing around with high voltage energies. And if you don't do the techniques right, you can mess up your chi. I messed mine up kind of early in life, but when I met Senyata, he had me breathing right, and I got to fix a lot of the ailments that I imposed upon myself. So these exercises that I'm about to tell you about are in the public domain, and I'm happy to find more or tell you about more or discuss them with you or others. Anyway,
Before you
men,
start, do you
yeah, yeah.
know some ways that a person possibly could get initiated, or is it totally on them?
So I'll say there's as people come into society, to civilization, to teach, um, they'll have students that they pass down their teachings to. And as you know, the more students they have, then those students have students. And sometimes the lessons get diluted. So it's kind of hard to find your way. So my first recommendation would be to find someone, first find a style that interests you. If it's martial arts, um, I would go to Tai Chi, Qigong route because Qigong emphasizes breathing. It helps you build your energy. And as Sunyata used to say, Qigong is like cooking breakfast and Tai Chi is like eating it. So when I say initiated, I don't mean like elaborate ceremonies. Some places might do that. I just mean you need to have a teacher physically there that you can bounce stuff off of, and they will show you the way into the art so that you can grow in a peaceful manner. So that initiation can come through yoga classes. If you find someone doing hatha yoga or kriya yoga or some of the other yogas that emphasize breath, find out about their lineage. Find out where they learned from, who they learned from. Question them. You don't have to just go with the first, excuse my language, jackass you see, right? Get out there and talk to people. Be like, well, what do you do? What do you do about breathing? Do you have breathing exercises in your art? How can I learn? And they might say, well, you got to take these introductory classes. It could be that simple of initiation. If it's all Sarah said, I know now the times I've been back to DC recently, I think they've stopped letting outside people take certain classes. Like you have to be a member of the Sarah Set Society to get certain knowledge of meditations that they show. Um, so let's see, martial arts, yoga, um, other society. So personally, in my journey, I haven't seen other places other than like diving, swimming. You know, if you do advanced deep diving courses, like if you find somebody that's doing free diving without gear, you can learn from them. You know, get creative with this. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out here breathing. Find that guy in the hood. Well, not in the hood. He'll be in the city probably or somewhere. You know, it's still some old cats that carry balloons around for kids' functions, and they be making all them balloon animal shapes. Yo, that's breathing exercise right there. You know what I mean? You can just get creative, find a system that you like, and the initiation part of it is you knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, I want to learn this. How can I learn this?"
Thank you.
Yeah. So the keeping the heart stable to live truth, the Minab Imok Imaat breathing technique. And if somebody from Australia said is listening and I pronounced it wrong, forgive me. Okay. So basically, if you're in your day and you're faced with a situation and it kind of catches you off guard, one of the first things we do is we go, right? You kind of, gear up and close off your lungs or squeeze your heart chakra area, right? Shoulders up, like, "Ugh," whatever sound you want to make, okay? Whatever brings you that feeling, whether it's the boss calling your name, whether it's a bill coming in the mail, whatever it is that, gets your goat, the first thing you want to do when you feel like that is inhale as best you can and then exhale as fully as you can. Okay. Now, when you exhale, your diaphragm goes up, but the feeling in your body feels like you're pushing down, but that's just an illusion. Okay. You feel like you're pushing down because you feel your rib cage on the bottom contracting inward and you feel your gut pushing out. Okay. But when you exhale, your diaphragm is actually pushing air up. So your belly should be going up. So here's number one, how to exhale properly. So you get that weird feeling. First thing you want to try and do is get in some air. Okay. Well, I don't care how you get it in. Now, focus on your belly button area and start exhaling and get all the air out that you can while your belly button moves towards your spine gently. And as you get to the bottom of your inhale, you want to be trying to relax and then feel your rib cage expand. Let your rib cage expand up and out like it's stretching while you're still holding your gut in and get as much air as you can out. And then you'll see that you breathe in a whole heap of air. And then you repeat that process again. Breathe out. And before you breathe in, allow your ribs to expand and then open the gate. Okay. When you do that a few times, whatever you were worried about is not going to have the same energetic hold on you as it did, which will allow you to operate more from your heart chakra, your heart space. It frees your heart space up. That's why it's called keeping the heart stable to live truth. So that's in his book, Meduna Ter, Volume 1, The Great Oracle of Tahuti and the Egyptian System of Spiritual Cultivation. That technique is in his book. Um, Another person that I like is Montauk Chia. He has 3 seminars right now online for free on YouTube because of this whole Chris Brown joint. So Montauk Chia is a Taoist, and actually that is one of the first books on meditation that I read was The Tao of Meditation, and I can't remember the author's name right now, but I did purchase it online recently because it's an old book, it's out of print. But I would have to say that Taoism, if you ever seen that yin and yang symbol or yin and yang symbol, the Taoist, I would say, influenced my life heavily um, growing up. So Montauk Chia is a Taoist. And if you want to know more about them, there's a good book called Entering the Dragon's Gate, where there's a living Taoist master that wrote his experience and how he ended up getting into the art. Because basically, these guys are like wizards, real life, straight up wizards, and they can control their chi. Another good one is Dynamo Jack. Um, look him up on YouTube. There's a book about him, and I can't remember the title right now, but he could heal people with his chi energy. So, anyway, emotionally, as you're breathing and observing your breath, remember if you're focusing on your breath, keep it light, keep your attention light like a butterfly. One of the best things you can do for your body, like say when you wake up in the morning, is just relax there. You can put your right hand on your abdomen, your left hand over your heart, and just monitor your breathing, feel it, you know, going in and out. Just relax, keep it belly breathing. Generate a smile. Think of something that makes you feel pleasant. A cuddly kitten, cute puppy, flowers, your mate, whatever, trees, what you're going to be doing later on, the party, the club, whatever makes you have a little bit of happiness. Just hold on to that happiness and then smile. Use your facial muscles to smile for real. Gently feel that smile energy circulate around your eyes. Just imagine your eyes while you're smiling. Imagine you're smiling at your eyes. And then after you smile at your eyes, smile down your throat, smile to your lungs and your intestines. They're intimately connected, your lungs and your intestines. If you have too much mucus in your intestines, then it becomes mucus in your lungs. That's why you want to keep a clean diet. Then smile down to your heart and your spleen. Your spleen, your bone marrow, your bones are what produces your blood. It goes into your bloodstream from the vessels in your bones. Your heart helps it to move around, but it's not the only thing that moves your blood around. Your spleen takes care of the old blood cells and recycles it for your body. So you want to smile to your heart, smile to your spleen, be like, thank you. Because they didn't have to keep your ass alive while you were sleeping, right? Just smile to your kidneys for filtering your bloodstream, okay? Because they take all of the toxins and stuff out and then push it to your bladder so you can pee it out, okay? So this inner organ smile, eventually, and Hood and I were talking about this, eventually, when you get this practice, as you learn to smile to your organs, one day you'll feel them smiling back at you. And that's some amazing shit. When they're smiling back at you, it's like they're generating energy. It's like you have a little generator inside of you. And that's just some wild stuff.
Can I
So
tell
my
you
touch,
what it sounds like?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it sounds like Louis Armstrong. But go ahead.
Word. That's my. I was just thinking about his song "Mac the Knife," man, before we got on the live. Louis Armstrong is one of my favorite artists, um, and especially love
What a
"What a Wonderful
wonderful
World."
world.
Yep. And I love Israel's version of that. If you ever cop that,
Okay.
Israel from Hawaii,
Okay.
um, he was a great artist, and I don't remember how he died, but yo, his voice is just angelic. He goes by Iz for short, IZ. You can look that up on YouTube, IZ, What a Wonderful World. But yeah, so that inner smile meditation is actually a book in and of itself now. He had that in his one of his first books in '84, I think it was, called Awakening Healing Energy Through the Tao. And I'm saying Tao because that's how the Chinese typically say it, but it's spelled Tao. Um, but it's called the Inner Smile Meditation. And now he has a book out that's actually called the Inner Smile Meditation. And I think that book came out in like 2008. I got Ra started on that one because I got something special in mind for Ra because his energy is like His energy. I already told him, man, I'm gonna be working with like the five elements with him because he's just a ball of energy. But as we do this more when the Slack, and as I start to have private consultations with people, I might tailor specific exercises for people. Um, but I'll say a little bit more on that later. But anyway, the inner smile meditation is in a book. You can get that. Okay. Sunyata taught us a lot of meditations. Tianlong, they used to call them too. Sifu. So Sifu or Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati um, taught us a good exercise for the mind. And again, I'm sharing this with you because it's in the public domain. It's in his book called The Jewel in the Lotus, and it's called the Hung Saw Meditation. If you've ever had trouble sleeping or focusing because you feel like your mind is racing a million miles a minute, okay? Because the mind, you're letting that monkey mind run you instead of you running it, right? You're letting your monkey mind walk you instead of you walking it, telling it to sit, heal, okay? One of the ways to do that is the Hung Sa meditation. Now, anybody familiar with Kundalini, you're going to hear what I'm about to say, and it's going to sound backwards because in Kundalini exercises, they ask you to breathe in up your spine to your crown chakra, and a lot of schools tell you to let it out. I ain't for that. Okay, I work too hard to sustain my life force. I ain't pushing it out to the atmosphere like that. That's why I like the Taoist method, where you complete your microcosmic orbit. Energy goes up your spine. You put your tongue to the roof of your mouth so that the energy can then travel down the front of your body. And your microcosmic orbit, as that energy travels down the front of your body, it connects at your perineum. If y'all don't know what that is, it's the muscle between your genitals and your butthole. As you squeeze that or relax it, it helps push that energy then back up the top of this to the back of the spine again. Excuse me. So that's called your microcosmic orbit. The macrocosmic orbit in Taoism is as the energy goes up the spine, down the front of the body, down the back of the legs, up the front of the legs, then back up the spine. And it also goes through the arms the same way. But you'll have to read Montauk Chia's books. I'm not getting into that right now. So most Kundalini people will tell you to shoot the energy up your spine. And again, like I said, I'm personally not for that. Okay, so the Hong Sa meditation to quiet your mind is not something to be taken lightly. Okay, um, you should not eat. I would say about an hour at least before doing this kind of practice, and you should make sure you're somewhere comfortable because it might make you spacey. And then after you finish it, Sunyata in his book recommends that you don't shower for at least 15 minutes after the practice and that you don't eat for at least 30 minutes after the practice and stay hydrated. Okay, so here it is. When you are inhaling, instead of going visualizing or feeling energy going up your spine, you're sitting up again, watch your pelvis. You don't want to be crooked backed. You're inhaling, imagining energy or feeling energy coming into your third eye. He used to tell us, you could lift your fingertip and touch your third eye, give you something to concentrate on if you can't feel it. You inhale, you have your tongue at the roof of your mouth, trying to touch it onto the soft palate, but not straining. If you have to strain, just, you know, keep it at the roof of your mouth as best you can. That's called Kichari Mudra when you have your tongue at the roof of your mouth. You inhale through your nose, imagining energy coming through your third eye and going down your spine. So your whole inhale, as you inhale, the energy is coming in. And when you finish with your inhale, it should be at the bottom of your spine. Okay. And then when that energy gets to the bottom of your spine, you squeeze your perineal muscle and then let it go. And then you exhale and imagine the energy going the other way, up the spine and then out the third eye to about 2 or 3 inches. Now, the Hung Sa part comes in as a mantra. You don't have to say it out loud. You can imagine it if you want to. So when you inhale, it's like you're thinking the word hung, and then when exhaling, saw, and you're exhaling through your nose with your tongue at the roof of your mouth. So if you do that, um, a few times, you'll start to feel it. He recommends that you don't do it more than 10 minutes because it can make you feel very spacey. um, and afterwards, you want to get up and shake it out, do some jumping jacks or something, do something to kind of get your blood flowing again, because it will kind of knock you into a different space. Again, like I said, this is in the public domain, so that's why I'm talking about it. Um, yeah, spiritually, Nadi Shuddhi breathing is alternate nostril breathing. You can find that almost on any website. Basically, holding one nostril. You in India, people like to use I forgot the name of the mudra, but if you're using your right hand, you place your right thumb against the bony part of your right nostril, and you use your left. I mean, you use the pinky and ring finger of that right hand to hold your left nostril, to breathe in with your right nostril, and then breathe out with your right nostril. And then on your next inhale, you hold your right nostril, breathe in with your left nostril, breathe out with your left nostril. If you just keep alternating that with deep, long breaths back and forth, it puts you in a very cool space. Um, there's a more advanced one called Nirmani Nadi Shuddhi, where you inhale through one nostril and exhale through the other, and then inhale through the one you just exhaled from and exhale through the other. And that's a little more advanced, and I'm definitely willing to discuss that, in the Slack. I just don't want to get into that here. Um, but I just wanted to share, a few exercises and to kind of hopefully open mind a bit about the things you can do with breathing. Um, you know, it's not just about in and out. You can actually control your brainwave state and your health state, but it takes discipline and it takes practice. So um, on the Slack, uh, we're chatting about it, and it's like a support group. You know, um, um, that thank you Hood for setting up your Slack channel because you brought together some beautiful beings
It
that
wouldn't be
are
nothing. It really wouldn't be nothing without all the people that participate that make it one of the. It's not me. Like a
right, right,
lot
right.
of
It's
a lot of things that happen on that Slack, I don't have shit to do with. You know,
yeah,
like
it's a team effort.
zero. You know, so I
Yeah,
appreciate everybody else that's a part of the Slack. You know, I just
word,
love
word.
y'all for just connecting and things of that nature. And I just want to say because you were talking and you may not know, but man, this shit is powerful, like beyond
Mm.
words. And I just really appreciate this share. You may have not have known because you don't see the chat and
Okay.
you just talking, but you're not just talking. It's very, very powerful, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you.
Word,
Continue.
word, man,
Hmm.
word. So, yeah, I'm on the next slide, the chat and support slide.
Hey, and I'm sorry, man.
Oh, you good?
I was.
No, dude,
You
you've been on
said,
it the whole time. You've
man,
been on it the whole time.
you took me there though. That last slide, man, you took me there, man. I was there.
You was still in space.
I was some catch me on the Slack.
Word, word,
It
word.
was very, very powerful. It was some very, got some downloads, got just
Yeah,
a powerful vibration and a powerful feeling
yeah,
because
man.
I seen a lot of different people just kind of in tune and lockstep with that breath. And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
energy
Word.
is how we can connect, and you kind of just so eloquently just put it all together. What a powerful share. But I'm gonna just
Thank
let
you,
you
man.
go
Thank
through with this slide, man. I just wanted to let you know, man, this was phenomenal.
you. All right, cool, cool. It's teamwork, man, because it's audience. Yo, it's everybody is a part of it. You know what I'm saying? The people watching, the people that will be watching. Everybody's energy contributes to it. So thank you,
I sure.
and thank all y'all. So again, like we were talking about, the platform is here for people to speak and learn and grow. On the Hood Mystics Slack, I started a channel called Prepare to Breathe Better. It might grow to a different name later, but right now we're just going over like anatomy, because like you'd be surprised how many people don't really know their body. Like when we see images, we all, it always makes it look like our lungs are floating in the air in our body or whatever, right? If you've ever worked on a German car where they got everything so tightly packed you can't even get your hand in to change the oil filter without taking apart half the engine, it's like that's how your body is. There is no space. Everything is filled up by something. And then in between each organ, you have these sacs, plural sacs. Usually it's a sac around the organ and then a sac where the organ resides. So your lungs are like in a balloon, and your rib cage on the inside is like another balloon. And those two areas rub against each other, those two membranes, they are tight up against each other. So when you're breathing in and filling up your lungs, your diaphragm pushes down. That's why your belly comes out naturally, because you're pushing the bag down. And if you push a bag down, it's not going out your spine. The only other place for it to go is out to the front. And that's because there is really no large interstitial spaces in your body. So, like the Qigong masters that can, uh, break boards when they slamming a stick on their back or their arms and all that stuff, they've learned to take the prana or the air energy that they can get from these breathing techniques, and they've learned to move that chi, that energy, like silken threads. You slowly draw it in and learn to draw it in. You can draw it in through your mouth. Some people have learned to do it through the solar plexus. But when you learn to draw energy in like that, you can then energize your bones. And as you energize your bones, which are piezoelectric, you generate current, you generate energy. Then you learn to pack the chi into your bones. And when you learn to pack the chi into your bones, you can then disperse it through your body. And that's the basis of like iron shirt qigong. People that can run swords across their bodies and not get cut. You're packing energy into your body from nature. It's prana. Man, how did I get on that, man?
Hey man, we somewhere in space, man. We somewhere like you done got me. Listen, Prime, you let me tell you, this world, right? This world is so crazy because we have been told that we should be doing this and we should be doing that, and we were never told how to breathe. However, this awareness, this group concerted effort, and I've purposely blocked out how many people are on the chat. I don't give a shit. It could be one person on the chat right now. I could care less about the views because the consensus effort to align the breath in an elaborate structural way, even in distance, is about the most powerful thing that I've experienced. Like, just to know that a person could listen to you speak and begin to work with themselves,
Mhm, mhm. Yep,
that's value,
yep.
okay? And it's so powerful because you ain't even asking for shit. And think about the irony.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you
Think
one of the
about the
people that set
irony.
me up. I feel you. I feel you. I should be charging, right? But don't get
No,
me
no,
wrong,
no,
man.
no, no. I didn't even say that. I'm just saying think about how much value you provided for someone and didn't charge a thing, and then think about
Yeah,
how much people pay for the
yeah. I know,
torment
man.
of
I know.
the distance of the actual breath.
It's because of my teachers. Like
Hmm.
one of the things Senyatta, you remember that oxygenated water fad, like
Yeah.
getting your water
Oh
with
yeah.
oxygen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Senyatta, I was in class, but we was doing like, man, he taught us so much. He was a beautiful soul, beautiful soul. We were doing this like white crane Tai Chi, and that just put me in this space. And I was drinking water after we were doing it, and I said something about it, like I wonder if I should start drinking this type of water. And he took my water bottle and he said, "You want me to show you how to get oxygen in your water?" I said, yeah. He shook it up real hard. And then he handed it back to me. I
You
was
thought
like,
you was on
okay.
some next level stuff, huh? You thought, man,
You know what I'm
man,
saying? I was blessed to have people in my life that broke it down like that. You want oxygen in your water? Nigga, could put the cap on it and shake it up. It's right there.
crazy, crazy, very simple shit. We
Yep.
like to make things very, very complicated,
Yeah.
and it's so crazy how advanced a person could be. I'm sorry, how advanced a person could be, Prime, and
Mm. Yep.
how secular minded a person could be. So much so that the actual modality of breath and the complexities of breath and the distances that the breath can take you. I
Yeah.
mean, I actually was able to be in a desirable location right now in my
Mm.
mind.
Word.
Do you understand that? Like I was
Yes, sir.
somewhere else, comfortable. Like and I was still here in tune with you, but
Yeah.
I was in a whole different room and I was having a whole different sensation. And I just want to
Yep.
add the whole entire time, my perineum or my root chakra or my
Yeah. Yeah.
kundalini has been at a
Buzzing.
vibratory, yes,
Yeah. Yep.
yes,
Yep.
yes. And I can't explain to you the alignment and the help that you provided and just your essence and your energy. So
Thank
I,
you,
I
brother.
don't even know how we get
Shoot.
into from conversation to conversation because it's spacey like that. It's no real
Yeah.
grab. It's air.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not. And so I guess where can you answer?
Yeah.
Where do you
Yeah.
go
I'm good, man. I'm
beyond
good with
logic?
time.
Where do you go beyond logic in the realms of breathing
Uh,
exercises to not get so abstract and then not to get taken away into la la
yeah.
land, but to stay
Yeah.
grounded in the breath and the exercise to actually create what you would call repetition, or like
Yeah.
Dream was saying earlier.
So like I said, when I
Because I
started
got
my
lost.
journey,
I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't
you
gonna hold
good, you
you.
good, bro. When I started my journey, I was the same way. I had a nervous breakdown when I left undergrad, and I was hospitalized, against my will, basically. But I volunteered it, but I was locked up. Let's just put it that way for 10 days because I was in some serious space. But that was because I got used to not living in my body because of the asthma, right? Anytime I was suffering, or not suffering, I shouldn't even call it that, but anytime my escape was out of my body, not sensing my body or not being rooted in my body. And through the years of martial arts training, from when did I start Shotokan? That was 91, 91 till now, right? Every successive master that I learned under helped me to feel comfortable in my skin. And I'm at a point now in my life where I've learned to not jump out of my skin when I feel uncomfortable. And that's like a habit that a lot of us have unconsciously. And it's just because we're looking for a solution. Our bodies are our puppets in the world, our surrogates. So when we relate to other people, we're doing it face to face. We're using our bodies, but our mind and our spirit, we're like everywhere. Okay. And the problems come in when we jump out of our bodies. And the way to stay grounded in your body is to start with breathing. Believe it or not, the simple free thing, right? Because the thing that startles you out of your body is energy. When you perceive a situation and your mind tells you, oh, this situation is insurmountable, this is the Armageddon, this is it, right? Then your spirit wants to jump out. And when your spirit jumps out, you have to have the strength enough. Again, you are the witness. Just like you can witness your mind, you're witnessing your spirit, your life force, your energy. jumping because of what your mind said. But if you can take that witness role and say, think of it as you're looking at a movie and just relax the perineum, straighten out your spine, and exhale and keep your feet flat and just try and exhale down into the earth. Grounding, right? Literally, electrically means grounding, but you do it not just with your feet on the planet. Like a lot of people are like, yeah, walk on the grass, walk on the grass. Yeah, whatever, neighbor. What if you're in the concrete jungle? You ain't walking on no
What
grass,
if you're in the
right?
projects?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Ain't no grass, that's sand and dirt. So you stand where you are, but the way you do it metaphysically, that will trump wherever you are. It don't matter where you are.
Can
Is
I
when you
stop the
exhale.
record real quick? Are you saying
Yeah.
that it don't matter where you at in life, you can still manage to get into some form of groundedness and
Hells
relativeness
yeah.
to yourself, and
It's
so
discipline.
it don't have
Discipline
nothing to
though.
do with your job, money, economic status, race, gender, so forth and so on? Are you saying that,
Yes, sir.
Prime?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Yes,
okay.
sir.
I'm gonna go back on mute. I'm gonna shut up.
So when you exhale, you imagine that you're pushing a root, like you're rooting your energy from that perineum, from your first chakra. Um, why am I messing the name up? Mudalahara. What's the name of that chakra hood? I keep forget.
Muda Lahara.
Yeah, Mudalahara. So imagine you're at your base chakra, right? And as you breathe down, just shoot some light into the earth, into the center of the earth. Push down as far as you can as you exhale. Don't let nothing stop you. Just exhale as deep, 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 deep as you can. And just imagine pushing whatever energy is bugging you or have you feeling like you jumping at your skin. What happens to an electrical ground? When lightning strikes your house, if the wiring has been done properly, the ground bar is connected by a heavy gauge wire to a rebar or some other metal piece that sticks physically into the ground so that when that lightning comes through, when that energy comes through, it bypasses your important systems and goes into the ground. If you practice breathing to the center of the earth, then slowly but surely you will build up that grounding ability to take on various types of energies that come your way. And that then helps you not to jump out of your body when you're feeling faced with some weird situation. So when you practice the visualization or the breathing, the exhaling, even if you don't visualize it, exhale deep into the earth. Feel it, whatever you want to do. Just use the center of the earth. That's what she is here for, to support our living. And we're here to love her. Okay. So use the center of the earth. Establish your ground. Establish your place on this planet. And then you get into the breathing. You do the Menab breathing. Exhale and let it go. Breathe again, keep your ground. And just practicing that every time something comes up, eventually nothing will really rattle you. And the things that do rattle you, you'll start to take care of. And then you'll start going on new adventures because you'll have new places to go. So, in answer to your question, with that technique, as you start to grow in actually grounding and staying in your body by breathing calmly through your situations, because no one controls your breath but you. I don't care if somebody's in your face with chains and machetes. If you breathe in calmly, man, me and my twin been through some shit. I remember this one time we stopped a fight. We ain't had no weapons on us, but we wanted these guys to get the hell out the road before the cops came. But it was some fender bender or something. One guy's digging in his car, the other one's digging in his. Me and my brother jump out the car and got between them because one guy came back with a machete and the other guy came back with a pipe. So we stood between them. He was facing one, I was facing the other, and we was telling him, we was like, "Look, man, don't do this. This is BS. Just stop it. Just get back in your car, right? You ain't even got to go there, okay?" I don't know why. I don't know how we pulled the strength. I don't know why I wasn't peeing and pooping in my pants while I was facing this cat with this weapon and I ain't had nothing. But at the time, I wasn't even thinking like that. I just moved with spirit. And it's when you start moving automatically with spirit because you're breathing into ground and you're taking more energy in, your life will take you on new adventures. You will automatically progress through what it feels like to have your spiritual consciousness living in your life, because now you'll be seeing choices that were before you were blind to because you were breathing too heavy and not in your body. But when you start breathing light and breathing deep and claiming your body, because it is your body, claiming it by grounding to the earth as you do these breathing exercises, automatically your spirit will clear the way for you to see opportunities that you otherwise were missing when you were caught up acting like you were the mind or the life force that was being scared by the experience and not being the witness.
Take us to church. You said, can you get a witness? Can you get a witness? Yes, you can get a witness. I testify. Hallelujah. Hey, Mama G.
Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kusa. Shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah, that.
you saying that is a word, because it's like you think that you are the experience, but breathing is the breath is so pure, right?
Yes. Yes.
That the
Yeah.
breath is not wrapped up in your trifling thotty toddy ass. It is on some
Yeah.
purity, refined,
Yeah. And
esoteric,
and and you can
akasha,
get beyond the
ether.
breath.
Man,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
When you were born, you were a cell. You when your body being formed, you didn't have lungs as your consciousness was looking at the formation of your earthly representative on the planet, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you were still going through that cycle of prana energy. You were still bringing things to yourself. You were still attracting veins and heart and tissues and more cells and food and nourishment, making things happen for the mama. Any
Yeah.
mama out there can attest to the fact that it was like having an alien telling
Oh
you what to
yeah.
do.
It's still like that. What are you talking about? What are you
Yeah,
talking
my
about?
my alien. I bet
Man.
she got her ear to the wall right now.
Right. Right. My alien's looking at his imaginary watch. Like I can hear the rumblings. Like it's like like that movie where it's like that thing underground and you're like, what is that
Mm-hmm.
thing that's shaking?
Dune. Was
Yeah.
it Dune? Yeah.
Or Tremors.
Mm-mm.
Like
Tremors. That's it.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
as you feel that you feel them vibrations. They about to burst through the windows and
yeah,
take over the whole household with the emotional
yeah.
outpour. But that's one level. But what we're
Yep.
referencing is that air, that mental, that clarity that you're if you're
Mm-hmm.
able to tap into it. But see, let me
Mm-hmm.
digress. It's
Mm-hmm.
real easy to do it with you, Prime. Let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
you
Right,
you
right,
are
right.
good at
I've been through
facilitating
the mistakes, man.
the
I've been through the
the
mistakes. That's what.
DMT suspension in the pineal gland, man. Whatever your so you are amalgamation of
Mm-hmm.
teaching and
Yep.
study, and you
Yep.
kind of refined it in more of a subconscious point of view, to whereas to work with you
Yeah.
is a teaching moment, and it is a spiritual moment if
Thank
you
you. Yeah.
understand what I'm trying to say. And another thing
Yes,
that
sir.
people might
Yeah.
have not caught in this actual presentation, you actually been woke since your ass been 8. Am I lying?
It was a bit lonely.
You was woke before woke was woke. Before
Right. I
woke
didn't
was
know there was a
woke
name
woke.
for it
Yeah,
till
you ain't
recently.
even know that woke was supposed to be a thing. You came up on YouTube
I'm like,
like, wait
what?
a
Oh,
second,
I could
hold
do. I
up.
could do that.
Wait, y'all got dread locks. What are we talking about here? Locks. I bet so
Yep.
these things, man, you are, a diamond in the rough, a OG amongst OGs, and
Bless you, brother. Bless
privilege.
you. You too, man.
It was a privilege. It was a privilege. And I really want to keep this concise because we're gonna have to
Yeah,
do this
yeah.
again.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I plan on I told you I got my Zoom Pro,
The Zoom
so
Pro, and I was
I'm
thinking
I'm planning on that with the Slack. Yeah. I don't
we
know if
was
it's
gonna
weekly,
just do
bi-weekly, what?
things on the Slack, but we going you could do things on the Slack on your own, but you gonna be doing bi-weekly stuff with me too or this goddamn YouTube
Word, bro.
channel,
All
man.
right, hey,
Hey,
that's all right,
because it's
man. Let me know. Let me know.
this platform, I really feel like is not for me. It's for
Mm,
you because
mm,
I ain't walked them road. I'm like, city streets, back alleyways
mhm,
and shit
mhm,
like that. You
mhm.
can only learn so much from me, man. I'm shadow,
Nah,
and some
but
people need that, okay?
I
But
was about to
some
say
people
that
need
that's what
a
drew me to your
refined.
channel.
I know, but some people, but this is what's drawing me to you. Some
Right,
people
right.
need to be a tried and true spiritual shaman master teacher. Some people need
Mm,
to hold that presence. Some people need to be an OG. Some people need
mhm,
to be a
mhm.
baba, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
need that,
Yeah.
and
Yes, sir.
you you gonna get really, really gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to begin to charge people, but I'll let you cross that bridge when you get there because it's gonna be too overwhelming, OG. And you just gonna be
That's
like,
cool.
you just gonna
But we gonna work it out on the Slack first, man, because I feel like I
yeah.
owe them first people, that have been uh in that journey with me, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Phoenix, Kevin, Stardust, and everybody else, Rain,
right.
Michelle, who else, Ra, all the people that was like, yeah, yeah, you know, let's see what's in this, prepare to breathe. And I was questioning them on the anatomy and stuff. So, I'm gonna do that proper, right? We gotta get that first group
Shout out to
ready and
Alexis
kicking.
too. Alexis.
Yeah, 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 man. I told that sister, I was like, she sent me a message, right? And I sent one back and I told her like this simple exercise. Y'all need to check John Nine's breathing video. It's only 2 minutes long, and her name is JAH and the number N. If you ain't into reggae, you need to be. And if you in it, then you know who John Nine is. But it's on YouTube. It just dropped yesterday. I told that sister, Alexi, I said, look, just do this simple breathing exercise, right? And I wrote it down. And like an hour later, John Nine dropped that video. And I'm like, man, what a blessing. Because I would rather her see it that way with that
Mm,
beautiful graphics and the dub music and all of that than to just hear me type it out. Because at least then, there's some validation, to what I'm saying. She can see it from somewhere else. Like I tell my daughter that. I'm like, don't just take my word for it.
mm,
Research, find out, see if somebody else is saying it. So I just
mm.
look at that as a blessing, and I hope it helped that sister Alexi out. I do plan on staying in touch with her. Um,
See, our
and
world is so.
Tanisha too.
Oh,
Tanisha, I'm working out. I'm supposed to be working out a plan with her. We just got to get back, get our schedules together because I got some breathing
indeed.
exercises up for her.
Yeah, yeah. I think what
And Rob, we're gonna be on them five elements.
Ra you gonna have to get with Ra ASAP. You gonna have to put him on the schedule.
Yeah,
Cause the more that
I know.
I'm serious. People can tend to think that people are a certain type of way, but generally, when we really get to know a person, man, you know, and you really sit and take the time to just have a conversation with a person, even if it's
Yeah,
online, and not have no expectations and kind of just open your
yeah.
heart and just, actually breathe through a lot of these particular situations. You
Hmm.
really find kindred souls and things of that nature because I tell you what,
Hmm.
you ain't found it with your family members and your friends from high school yet.
Right,
So you might as
right.
well open your heart and open your world to more different things. And you know, I think that as I digress just a little bit,
You good?
what you said to Lexi and then what you are saying to like in the earlier slides, because I was just kind of listening, you had alluded to breathing in the subconscious mind, and then the
Hmm.
subconscious mind creating the teachers that you needed, and then also
Hmm.
creating a reality, because people was looking at the slide, I was looking at you and your massive library, and your prosperous living arrangement, and it's
Right, right.
not it's a real thing. And let's just be real
Yeah,
about it. You ain't worried about too much, and if somebody come messing with you, you got 15 different
yeah.
ways of taekwondo for their ass. So,
Right,
this is
right.
this is a comic book character, right? Low key acting like he's a human being, right? An anime character, you know what I'm saying? And
All
then
right.
you exemplify that breathing subconscious mind paradigm is all that I'm trying to
Mhm.
say, and help us
Yes, sir.
get there, help us
Yeah,
get there,
yeah,
help
man.
us understand that.
Hells yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal. Word.
But yeah, man, give us some closing words, because like I said, we're gonna keep this thing concise. A lot of people, like, tomorrow we can have a live and we can dirty that all up, but when you
Hmm.
come on here, I just want it to be your voice, your
Hmm.
essence, and for however long YouTube is a platform. But anyways, I got this recorded, so this is definitely going in the personal files. I'm gonna already put this on the external hard drive, man. This is a
All
gem that,
right.
we just
Well,
gonna
I would
keep
just say, yeah, man. For closing, number one, Happy Earth Day. Okay,
keep it
this
100. Keep it
time,
100.
right? This time right now is the best Earth Day that the Earth ever had since people in our generation started celebrating so-called Earth Day. Because the seismologists, the noise floor dropped. The people that look for earthquakes and tsunamis and stuff, they have been able to tell on their instruments through the lack of the industrial processes and everything that the sound level being put into the crust of the planet has dropped. There are rivers that are having fish in them that used to not have fish in them because the pollution and stuff isn't there. So right now, the earth is accessible as a living library to anybody that wants to just sit and vibe with her. And it doesn't like I said, you don't have to be sitting on the grass. You know what the earth looks like. There's been enough pictures. And if you, man, I ain't even getting into that flat earth crap right now. But if you believe it's flat, that's cool with you. You know what it looked like. All right. I believe it's a spherical being. And just now is the time while the earth is quiet and while everybody in humanity on the planet is focused on what are we going to do for our future? How are we going to get by? What am I doing in this house right now or this apartment or wherever you are? And people are just sitting kind of wanting to evolve and wanting better. Now, in terms of human potential intention, this is like the best time for you to begin these kinds of practices. Just start small. You ain't gotta become no shaman overnight. Oh yeah, shout out to Ra Shaman. She was like very supportive of me doing this. So I appreciate you, sister. Thank you. But you ain't gotta be no shaman or a yogi overnight. Okay. It starts with just number one, check your breathing capacity. Exhale as much as you can, relax a bit, inhale as much as you can, and just start playing around with it brick by brick. But now is a prime time to start it with the earth being quiet, with Venus and Taurus, you know, reassessing of the values. Do you value your spirit? Do you value your life? If you do, then put more of your spirit into your life by consciously focusing your awareness on your breathing and consciously focusing your awareness on your breathing techniques and doing it over and over whenever you feel like it, whenever you think about it, whenever you're up against something. The more you do it, the more easier it's going to become. And it'll manifest in your life and it'll blossom.
This is natural.
Mm. Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, man. Like I said, concise. And if you want to meet or talk to Prime, he's in the Slack almost daily. But he's also a family man and a
Yeah,
entrepreneur and a leader in the community. And we just want to thank him for his time, his energy, his efforts today for putting this presentation together. So his information is right here. Please reach out to him, figure out a way for you to pour into him, family. Like, he didn't have to do nothing of what he did, putting this slideshow together, presenting his information. He's perfectly fine living in bliss with his wife and his daughter, family. Like, he don't
yeah,
need us at all. So, if you got any value from this, shoot him an email, follow him on Instagram, and follow him on the Slack, and pay attention for more content from Prime Harmonic. But with that said, I'm the Hood
yes,
Mystic. Make
sir.
sure you replay this for your friends and family. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you breathe deeply into the like button, okay? And share this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notifications bell, because tomorrow we're deep diving. Or no, we're not even deep diving. We're setting the world on fire with the new moon video. So Prime, we'll talk again tomorrow, hopefully, and maybe we can get some live questions for you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, peace. Peace, family. We'll talk tomorrow. See ya.
Peace.